Hello guys, welcome to the History Hawk. Today we're going to be doing World War One. World War One by the History Hawk. This is a trench. Looks like a hole in the ground with lanterns, beds, and an artillery cannon. You're kind of right. Soldiers faced the threat of the enemy charging, so they were always ready. Both sides hated each other and thought they were ruthless powers. This is a map of 1914. Spoiler, it changes. The German Empire was a thing, and so was Austria-Hungary. The Germans had a plan called the Schlieffen Plan. The Schlieffen Plan was composed by German officials and Count von Schlieffen. The plan was to invade France really quickly while Russia was getting ready, then quickly move all their troops to Russia and win the war by overwhelming the entity Allied powers with the might of their territory. Naturally, it failed. Germany invaded through Belgium, which was a neutral country. So when Germany invaded it, England didn't like Germany. World War I started when Archduke Franz Ferdinand was killed by Serbian terrorist groups. He was driving through an open-top car in the Austro-Hungarian town of Sarajevo, with his route published in advance. Terrorists threw a bomb at his car and missed and blew up an officer behind him. The Archduke went to visit the injured officer, and the driver took a wrong turn and got stuck next to the failed terrorist, who shot him. The Austro-Hungarian government suspected the Serbian government had something to do with this, which they might have. This is a map of what it looked like most of the war. Germany's plan failed because Russia was ready earlier than expected. Germany and called Austria-Hungary's help with Russia. And they tried, they tried, but at least they didn't really do anything, except lose territory, but at least they tried. So Germany had to send troops to help with the Russians. That happened again, this time getting kicked by Serbia. So Germany again had to send troops. Italy hasn't done anything, really, and Britain and France are fighting German forces. They decided to dig trenches because they can't just sit around waiting for the enemy to shoot them. Trench life. Trench life sucked, mainly because there's rats, mud that could swallow you whole, and poisonous viruses and gases. Both sides targeted bathrooms with artillery, and there was no bedroom for the common soldier. Going to the restroom was just doing their business in the bucket. End of the war. The end of the war happened when Russia pulled out of the war and everyone else's supplies were almost non-existent. Germany finally pulled out and surrendered, and the Treaty of Versailles was signed. Austria-Hungary pulled out, and two other countries followed suit, and the world stayed peaceful until 1933.